Professor Karen King says the 4th century papyrus fragment quotes Jesus referring to "my wife" and mentions Mary, a possible reference to Mary Magdalene. According to some, the 33-word fragment could send shockwaves through the Christian world.
What is, of course, exciting about this fragment is that it's the first case we have of Christians claiming that Jesus had a wife.
But Jerusalem-based New Testament scholar Claire Fawn says it doesn't tell us anything about Jesus and his followers.
Probably tells us more about discussions that are going on among Christian groups in Egypt at that time than it tells us anything about Jesus in the 1st century. This is a fragment that talks about church history and is of great interest to church historians, particularly those who are dealing with Egyptian Christianity.
Fawn says the context in which the papyrus was written is missing. King herself believes the fragment was part of the discussion about the role of women in the early church.
Professor King, herself a very eminent church historian and Coptic scholar, does not feel that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were married, and she certainly doesn't feel that this particular fragment would ever prove that in one way or another. She feels that this particular fragment really is dealing much more with issues of women's roles in leadership and in authority in Egyptian Christian community sometime in the 4th century.
Experts on Coptic history are meeting in Italy. Some of them are skeptical about the appearance and the grammar of the papyrus fragment.
And I was very pleased to hear yesterday that Professor King, who is the teacher who's at Harvard who's publishing this text, has the intention of trying to get a chemical analysis of the ink in order to verify whether or not it is really ancient or whether or not it might be a modern composition.
Dr. Corné Becker of Regent University says the fragment is likely from the 4th century Gnostic movement, which tried to subvert the message of Christianity. Chris Mitchell, CBN News.